One of the most common questions that is asked about prehistory and humans in general is, how did we survive? Humans have been around for approximately 300,000 years, but it wasn't until 12,000 years ago that we started to farm the land. For the vast majority of our existence, we were hunter-gatherers, surviving by hunting animals and gathering plants. There are lots of theories on how prehistoric humans went from nomadic hunter-gatherers to the agricultural revolution. But there's one thing that has always been a bit of an enigma. How did early humans hunt before they had weapons? Hunting with bare hands seems pretty crazy, but this is exactly what researchers believe early hominins did. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how scientists think prehistoric humans first hunted and killed their prey without using any weapons. So how did prehistoric humans first hunt without weapons? As mentioned previously, humans have been around for around 300,000 years, but we didn't start making weapons until roughly 2.6 million years ago. This means that for the majority of our existence, we would have to rely on other methods to hunt and kill our prey. But these methods would only have been effective against small prey. Larger animals would still require some form of weapon to take down. Scientists believe that early hominins likely used a combination of running, chasing, and catching to take down their prey. Homo ergaster, one of the earliest known species of the genus Homo, lived in Africa during the Pleistocene epoch. They were thought to have hunted in groups and used their speed and endurance to capture their prey. Scientists estimate that the average adult male stood at around 5 feet tall and weighed around 120 pounds, so they weren't necessarily bigger than your average male today. But what they lacked in size, they would have made up for in endurance. Plains and grasslands would have been their preferred habitat, as these areas are more open and allow for easier movement. This would have given them a significant advantage over their prey, which would have included smaller mammals such as antelopes, zebras, and wild cattle. Early hominins would have also targeted smaller animals such as monkeys and apes, as these animals typically live in wooded areas. The dense foliage would have made it more difficult for them to run, meaning that early hominins would have had to use stealth and cunning to get close enough to their prey before pouncing. This method of hunting is similar to that of modern-day cheetahs, which are the fastest land predators in the world. They rely on their incredible speed to chase down their prey and can reach speeds of up to 75 miles per hour. However, they only sustain these speeds for short bursts, as this requires a lot of energy. Similarly, early hominins would have relied on their speed and endurance to capture their prey, and would not have been able to maintain high speeds for extended periods of time. Another animal that exhibits this type of behavior is the African wild dog, which also relies on endurance to take down its prey. These dogs can run at speeds of up to 45 miles per hour and can cover distances of up to 12 miles per hour. In a single day, they typically hunt in packs, which allows them to effectively isolate and corral their prey. This type of pack hunting behavior is also observed in modern-day humans, as we tend to work together when hunting larger animals. It's possible that early hominins exhibited similar behavior, although there's no direct evidence to support this theory. While this method of hunting would have been effective against smaller prey, early hominins would have still needed another way to take down larger animals. This is where their intelligence would have come in handy. Early hominins would have likely used their intelligence to develop strategies and tactics to outsmart their prey. They may have used tools such as rocks and sticks to corral or immobilize their prey. They may have also used fire to flush out animals from their hiding places, or to weaken them by burning their food sources. For example, early hominins may have surrounded a watering hole with fire, forcing the animals to flee, and then captured them in the open. While there is no direct evidence of early hominins using fire for hunting purposes, there is evidence of them using fire for cooking and social gatherings. It's possible that they used fire for hunting as well, although this remains speculation. Early hominins may have also hunted at night, which would have given them an advantage over their prey. Many animals are nocturnal, meaning that they are most active at night. This would have made it easier for early hominins to sneak up on them and capture them off guard. Additionally, the darkness would have made it more difficult for prey to see them coming, giving them a better chance of getting close enough to deliver a fatal blow. It's important to note that early hominins likely had a more varied diet than just meat. While they may have hunted animals, They likely also gathered plants, fruits, and nuts. This would have provided them with essential nutrients and calories that they needed to survive. Hunting would have been one of many strategies they used to obtain food. Another advantage early hominins had was their opposable thumbs, which allowed them to grip and manipulate objects in their hands. This would have allowed them to more easily carry and use tools such as clubs or spears. Early hominins may have also used their thumbs to scale trees and access new food sources, such as those found in treetops. Additionally, they could use their thumbs to pick up and throw small rocks, potentially as projectiles, or to startle and disorient their prey. Overall, early hominins likely used a combination of endurance hunting, intelligence, and adaptability to hunt and kill their prey. They would have used their speed and stamina to chase down smaller animals, while using their intelligence and adaptability to outsmart larger animals. While this may seem primitive compared to modern-day hunting techniques, it was an effective way for early humans to obtain the necessary resources to survive in their environment. It's important to remember that early hominins would have lived in a vastly different world than we do today. The climate was warmer, there were no domestic animals, and the landscape was much different. This would have required them to be adaptable and resourceful in order to survive. However, it's also important to note that early hominins were not the only predators in their environment. They would have had to compete with other carnivorous animals, such as hyenas, lions, and tigers, for food. This would have put pressure on them to develop new and innovative ways to hunt and kill their prey. Despite these challenges, early hominins were able to survive and eventually gave rise to modern-day humans. Their ability to adapt and change their behavior over time was key to their survival. Today, humans are the dominant species on Earth and have a significant impact on the planet. However, it's important to remember that we were once nomadic hunter-gatherers who relied on the land for our survival. The agricultural revolution marked a turning point in human history, allowing us to settle down and cultivate our own food. But our early ancestors' reliance on hunting and gathering shaped our species and allowed us to become the dominant species on Earth. What do you think about this topic? Do you think that early hominins really used endurance and intelligence to hunt down their prey? Let us know in the comments below.